And earlier today, I spoke with the Epoch Times reporter Daairlín McCormick-Sanchez, who's been investigating what she describes as the erosion of laws and norms that's slowly making pedophilia acceptable in today's culture. Daairlín McCormick-Sanchez, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me.
Now, Daairlín, you've written extensively about the erosion of traditional values. In a recent Epoch Times article, you say pedophilia is on its way to being normalized as another kind of sexual orientation. Tell me about that.
Well, what's happening is pedophilia used to be considered a heinous crime, and of course it still is to most people. But it was also designated as a mental illness. And what people are talking about now is there may be a push out there to change it from a mental illness to a sexual orientation.
In your research, you found this normalization in popular culture, in law, and in academia. What are some examples of that?
There was an ad campaign by, a fashion house out of France that had little girls in their ad holding teddy bears that were dressed in bondage. It's definitely out there in popular culture. There's also a play out there, the play Downstate. It's about pedophiles, and it paints them in a very sympathetic light, as misunderstood and mischaracterized. And, they're portrayed as someone to pity and not fear or be angry at. There's a term out there now called minor attracted person or minor attracted persons. And that came out of academia. And most of this is coming out of academia, I would have to say, and the popular culture as well. But they are saying that we should not be stigmatizing pedophiles, all pedophiles, because some of them are just attracted to minors and they aren't actually acting upon their urges. Whether or not that's true, it's hard to say because, the expert I spoke with who treats and analyzes and assesses pedophiles, he's dealt with hundreds of them. He said, they are the probably one of the best people, or the best person out there capable of, spinning a tale. And so it's very difficult to understand if they're telling the truth or not.
And you say that normalizing pedophilia could ultimately lead to a major cultural change that elevates pedophilia to a protected class. What would that mean?
Well, at the very least, it would mean that they would get job protection, right? Employment protection. You can't discriminate against them because it's a sexual orientation. So you can imagine if a pedophile wants to go work at a daycare center, and you couldn't do anything about that. And, obviously the next step would be to work on weakening the laws or eliminating some of the laws on pedophilia.